Hello there, I'm Juan Pablo García Sossa or JPGS, M-. I'm a designer, researcher and artist fascinated by the clash between emerging technologies and popular culture in tropical areas. I've been investigating how technologies are being misused or reappropriated, developing scenarios, cultures, visions and realities that otherwise would be unthought in the so-called global north. I've been interested in other forms of knowledges, designs, and technologies taking inputs from the tropics as a region and as a mindset. I find particularly interesting how very often in the tropics we don't read instruction manuals but we rather re-script them. We will examine how we relate to our digital content, possibly build up a filter bubble and looking how we could possibly maybe blow it up. Provoking anomalies in predictive streams, how can we pull strings in the web? Hello, this is JPGS. We will explore ways of relating to digital content and navigating the web by performing digital dérives. Dérives are common practices in situationist theory, as a way to break the increasingly predictable and monotonous experience of everyday life in advanced capitalism.
Or to say it in another way, the autocomplete.
We will translate some of these principles to digital environments. These are a series of interconnected tactics or navigation dynamics for understanding the pulling strings in the web while affecting them and directing the course of our digital interactions. First, we will look up something we find interesting or something we find completely random. We can look up for screws for a couple of hours or days. Any kind of screws. Ah, these look interesting. You can see how we start getting these promotions in this kind of language today, instantly. For instance, in red colors. Need advice? More information? This product is no longer available. There's certain kind of language expressed the red color, the deadline deal, the timer. Digital content is mostly designed to persuade us or to lead us to certain paths and auto-complete our journeys. It is okay to be wanting to spend time in our devices consuming digital content. After all, every feature, color and sound has been optimized to keep you hooked, sold, and coming back for more. We are shown affirmative content we will most likely enjoy driven by so-called engagement algorithms, so that we can spend more time in our devices. Some are more subtle, some others more evident. Buttons keep emphasis on confirmations and text is formulated into convincing ways. This is for instance just for buying screws. At some point we will be kinda screwed, and we will be seeing for the next days or weeks screw content. Now, this is not only for screws. This happens similarly with news media. We see how we are very often consuming news as entertainment. So we don't need to watch any series anymore as news are presented even more surreal and as entertaining as any Hollywood production. Try to zoom out for a moment and before letting your emotions run, ask yourself, who is benefiting from this? Who is profiting from this? Why is this shown or presented in this specific way? This includes, of course, social media news feeds. How many times a day do users interact with their phone? People tapped, swiped and clicked a whopping 2,617 times each day, on average. We spend big amounts of time with our devices, and we are constantly bombarded by cookies, agreements, notifications and so on. More than a web made of strings, we might be navigating a web full of bubbles, diverse and specific bubbles for every user navigating the web. So we are going to perform some experiments to navigate these streams in the web and to see to which extent we could alter our bubbles. We will define our digital derive using this information. First, we will take this number, we will break it, and define the rules of our iterations. Second, result in search, 6 times. Departing from the word sharing. Some search engines would want us to sign in and set a profile so they can build easier these bubbles by tracking our paths. If we perform these dynamic for several times changing the rules, hopefully we would be able to provoke some anomalies in our profile patterns. We will now take a name or word from the web space we ended up and we'll look up for it plus the word Wikipedia. Now it would be the first link for 7 times. Now we are going to check this article and see if we can contribute to it. You can contribute directly to an article or you can open an account. Opening an account will require only a username and a password, and email is optional. If you speak more than one language, the easiest way would be to translate it into one of them. If that article is quite complete already, you can look up for articles that need translation. How can we pull strings in the web? Steps to perform a digital derive. 1. Pay attention to the content you are relating to in your digital environments. What are the messages shared? What forms do these messages take? Why is this content presented like this? What does it want to provoke on me? Who is benefiting from this? Who is profiting from this? 2. Design your digital derive. Take a number to define your rules. It could be, for instance, the number of hours spent with your phone in a week. Let's suppose it was 48h and 32 minutes. 3. Break that number to define your rules. We will take the fourth result in a search engine like Google and repeat a search process 8 times, departing from a word of your choice like sharing. 4. From the resulting page after the first digital derive, we will take a word or name and look it up in Wikipedia. 5. We will now take the third link in 2-click iterations. 6. We will explore this resulting article and we'll see if we can contribute to it or to another article on Wikipedia. 7. We will edit an article, possibly by translating an existing one to another language. 8. Consider sharing with your family, friends, or relatives the way you would like to be involved with digital environments. Maybe you would like to spend less time on them. Develop your own rules and feel free to share your digital derive tactics and navigation. Most likely it will be different every time. There are many strings pulling the networks of the web. Being aware of them is a first step to try to navigate them better. As we are able to be aware of our bubbles and try to alter them, we might be able to develop better digital practices. And by contributing content, we might be able to contribute to altering the network of imaginaries and redistribution the concentrations already present in them. Plop.